It's the middle of the night. The room is completely dark. Nothing woke you, no sound, no dream, no alarm. And yet, your eyes are open. You reach for your phone. The screen lights up your face. 3:07 a.m. You lie there for a moment, waiting for sleep to come back. It doesn't. There's something in the room, not a sound, not a presence you can name, just a feeling, like something is paying attention to you. Most people roll over and try to forget it. By morning, they've convinced themselves it was nothing. Stress, maybe, too much caffeine, a strange dream they can't remember. They build a rational explanation, and then they live inside it. Because the alternative requires them to take seriously something they were taught to dismiss. But if you're here, something tells me you stopped doing that a while ago. If this video found you at the right moment, stay with me. What I'm about to share changes the way you read the night. There is a time the ancient world recognized long before clocks existed. A window, a threshold, an hour that doesn't quite belong to the living or to the dead, to the waking or to the dreaming. Different cultures gave it different names. The witching hour, the devil's hour, the hour of spirits, the sacred watch. The names changed. The knowing didn't. They all agreed on one thing. Between 3 and 4 in the morning, something shifts. The veil between this world and every other one becomes thin. Not invisible, just thin. Thin enough for things to pass through. Thin enough for messages to arrive that couldn't reach you in the noise of the day. Thin enough for the part of you that is more than a body, the part that remembers more than this lifetime, to finally surface and be heard. In 1535, the Catholic Church officially forbade all activity during this window. Not because nothing was happening, but because something was. And whatever was happening was powerful enough to frighten an institution. Shakespeare wrote about it in Hamlet. "'Tis now the very witching time of night, when churchyards yawn and hell itself breathes out." He wasn't writing fantasy. He was writing what everyone already knew. Ancient Chinese medicine mapped the body's energy meridians to the hours of the night. 3 in the morning belongs to the lungs. And in that tradition, the lungs are not just the organs of breathing. They are the organs of grief, of release, of everything you've been holding that your waking mind refuses to let go of. Waking at this hour, they believed, was the body surfacing from something that needed to be felt before it could be freed. The Sufis called it the hour of divine proximity, the moment when the distance between the human and the sacred collapses. They rose at this hour to pray, not out of obligation, but because they understood that the door is open at 3 a.m. In a way, it simply isn't at noon. But here's what I want you to understand. None of this is happening to you randomly. The universe does not set alarms. Something does. When you wake at 3 a.m., not once, not twice, but again and again, always at that hour, always with that strange, suspended feeling in your chest, you are being contacted, not haunted, not disrupted, contacted. There is a difference, and your body already knows which one it is. Fear and contact feel different. You wouldn't be watching this if you thought it was something to be afraid of. You'd be watching something else. Instead, you're here, which means some part of you already understood that what's happening at 3 in the morning is not random. It is a call. The question is, whose? There are 3 reasons you wake at this hour, and they are not the same for everyone. Part of what this video is asking you to do is feel, really feel, which one is yours. Some people who wake at this hour are being reached by those who have passed, souls who cannot visit in the noise of the day, who need the quiet, who need the veil to be thin, who have something they did not finish saying. If someone you loved has left this world and you keep waking at this exact hour, it may not be coincidence. It may be them standing just close enough to reach you in the only window where that crossing is possible. That stillness you feel in the room is not emptiness, it is presence. The kind that cannot knock on a door or pick up a phone. The kind that can only wait for you to go quiet enough to notice. Others wake because their guides are near. Every soul that came into this life came with something watching over it, not controlling, not directing, watching. And sometimes that watching becomes urgent. When you are standing at a crossroads, you haven't fully admitted to yourself yet. When something important is approaching that you are not prepared to receive, the guidance comes closer. It wakes you up. It places you in the silence so you can finally hear what the day was too loud to carry. You have felt this, the knowing that arrives in those dark hours, the clarity about a relationship, a decision, a direction. That isn't anxiety. That isn't insomnia unwinding random thoughts. That is the answer arriving through the only channel that was open. And then there are those who wake because their own soul is calling, because they are in a season of expansion. And expansion requires them to outgrow the version of themselves that could sleep through it. Your soul knows things your mind has not caught up to yet. It knows what is leaving. It knows what is arriving. It knows the shift that is already happening beneath the surface of your life, the one you can almost feel but can't quite name. And it wakes you at 3 a.m. because that is the only hour quiet enough to tell you what it knows. This is not insomnia. This is initiation. When you lie there in the dark and feel that presence, that unnamed something that opened your eyes, I want you to stop fighting it. Stop reaching for your phone to fill the silence. Stop building explanations in your head to make the feeling small. Because what is in that room with you in that moment is not a disturbance. It is an opening. The veil is thin, and something came through it specifically for you. Breathe. Stay still. Place one hand on your chest and feel your own heartbeat. That rhythm that has never once stopped for you, that has carried you through every dark night you have ever survived. And then ask, not with words, but with the quiet underneath the words. Ask what it is you need to know. You may not hear an answer immediately. That is not how this works. The messages that come through at 3 a.m. don't always arrive in language. They arrive in feeling, in the sudden knowing that a relationship has run its course, in the clarity about a decision you have been circling for months, in the image of a face, a place, a direction that rises up from somewhere beneath thought, in the peace that floods through you when you finally stop resisting the silence and let it hold you. That peace is not emptiness. That peace is information. And I want to tell you something about the mornings that follow, because this is something most people miss. The night you woke at 3 a.m. and finally stayed with it, finally breathed into it instead of away from it, the next day will feel different. Not dramatically, not in a way you can explain to someone else, but something in you will be slightly more settled. A decision will feel less impossible. A person will come to mind and you'll know exactly what needs to happen. A weight you've been carrying will be lighter, not because anything changed on the outside, but because something finally moved on the inside. That is the 3 a.m. transmission completing itself. That is what it came to do. There is something else I want to say, something that the fear around this hour tends to overshadow. The fact that you wake at 3 a.m. is not a warning. It is a sign of sensitivity, of depth, of a soul that came here wide open, tuned to frequencies that most people have been conditioned to call nothing. The people who wake at this hour and feel called rather than frightened, they are the ones who have always been listening to something real, even when they had no name for it, even when they kept it quiet to avoid being misunderstood. You were not built for shallow sleep. You are not built for a life that passes through the night without noticing what the night is saying. The 3 a.m. waking is not the problem. It is the answer to a question you have been carrying without knowing how to ask it. The next time it happens, and it will, do not reach for the light. Sit in the dark for a moment. Let the room be what it is. Let the presence be whatever it came to be. And know that whatever crossed the veil to find you in that stillness, it did not come to disturb you. It came because you are someone worth reaching. Because your path matters, because the life that is waiting for you on the other side of this season requires you to be awake in more ways than one. The night is not empty. It never was. You just needed permission to stop pretending it was. Subscribe. I put out one video a week, just one. And it is always for the person who needed to hear it exactly when they found it. Tell me in the comments, what do you feel in the room when you wake up at 3 a.m.? Do you feel afraid? Or do you feel like something found you?